What if I told you there's a place where you can ride a tram through one person's unbelievable collection of American history, giant props, classic cars, and pop culture? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be doing today, so come along with us. Welcome to the American Treasure Tour here in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Although this collection has existed privately for decades, it wasn't until around 2010 that the guided public tours officially began. Before then, only invited guests could come and see these treasures. One of the museum's biggest mysteries is that the collector has chosen to remain anonymous. But according to museum staff, he still adds new items to the collection and has even been known to quietly ride the tram car with visitors without identifying himself. Wait a minute, is that the mysterious collector? No, that was just Peter Rabbit. Okay, come on, let's go check it all out. This is the walking part. Indiana Jones. This is the part you walk in. There's no tram over on this side. So when you come, you gotta come a half hour early so you can walk around over here, or you walk around at the end. That's fun. That'd be good for your 4th of July parties. It's not my first time here, but you always see something new. Might not have stood out last time.
For you guys. So the tour lasts about 35, 40 minutes.
And you are about to view a collection amassed by one man who wishes to remain anonymous. We honor that request as he wants the items collected to be the stars of the show. On the left, we have a replica of a Conestoga wagon, along with Cowboy Bob. Real Conestoga wagons that traveled across this great country were actually 18 feet long and 11 feet high and could carry up to 12,000 pounds of cargo. Our collection got started with automobiles. The first of these is on your right, the blue 1956 Thunderbird. This is a beautiful sports car equipped with a hardtop convertible. These models were made for 3 years between 1955 to 1957 and designed to compete with the Chevrolet Corvette. For a family car, look no further than the next car on the right, and you will find a 1958 Studebaker station wagon. The price of this automobile when it first arrived in the showroom was $1,776. We have around 70 classic vehicles here in the museum, some of which you get to see on foot and some from the tram. At that time, most people did not have electricity in their homes, and the public was captivated by the moving displays of electric lights in the store windows. Just like the mechanical music you will hear today, these displays were early forms of marketing. You went where the beautiful music and interesting moving objects were located, and the businesses hoped that you would come inside and spend your hard-earned dollars. The automatons we have on display in these circus wagons are just the tip of the iceberg that are known as bumper cars. They are from the 1940s. Behind them are Dodgem bumper cars that represent the 1950s. Following them, there is a 1930 roller coaster carriage made by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. This carriage is wooden and was made at a time before there were safety regulations. No seatbelts or lap bars on this ride. You just held on and prayed when you went speeding down the hills of the roller coaster. On this display, Calamity Jane. She has a gun in her holster, whiskey in her boot, and a custom-made cowgirl hat. Now that is what we call really good ranch dressing right there. Across from Calamity, you will see the Rump motorcycle. The red cycle with 2 wheels in the back and 1 in the front. This was made in the early 1970s. Elvis Presley had one just like it. Our collector loves Elvis, so he had to have one too. As we go down the corridor, please note that you are in a building that originated as a B.F. Goodrich tire factory. In the 1970s, they were producing 12,000 tires a day here. After being in business over 50 years, the tire factory closed in the mid-1980s. Rather than demolishing this huge building, which is 1,200,000 square feet, the new owner repurposed it, and today it houses many businesses, including our sister company, Arnold's Family Fun Center. Check out Arnold's Fun Center for the biggest and best go-karting, arcade, and bowling east of the Mississippi. Toward the end of this hallway, on the right, you will find the glitzy, sequined mummer costumes. The mummers are a Philadelphia tradition, and their first official parade was on New Year's Day in 1901. The history of the mummers is as colorful as their costumes and began as rivalries between Philadelphia neighborhoods. As we enter the next room in our journey, you will find that just like in our music room, we have miniatures here. On your left, the first display shows a miniature circus from the early days when the circus came to town on the train. The canvas tents were set up in a field, and the 3-ring circus and sideshow became the town entertainment for a few special weeks. The second display is a miniature amusement park from Moundsville, West Virginia, and used to be in an ice cream parlor window. It has the distinction of being handmade with no plastic. It's all wood and metal, and it is run by old Singer sewing machine motors. That machine you just heard was a Wurlitzer Model 153, and it is just the first of many band organs we are going to hear on our tour today. We are about to enter a room full of them, and it is held together by 4 gallons of Elmer's glue.
4 gallons of Elmer's glue.
The oldest functioning automaton in the collection, the Sword Swallower. He dates back to the late 1890s. So he would have been in one of the very first storefront window displays in America.
Always gotta look up too. There's stuff above. Uncle Fester. button collection. Button, who's got the button? The world's largest slinky. This girl's painting her whole life away.
The machine you just heard is located in the front right corner of the room and is golden yellow in color. It is the Wurlitzer Model 165. It was the last band organ the Wurlitzer Company ever made. It was shipped to Griffith Park in Los Angeles, California in 1939, where it accompanied a carousel for many years. There are only 11 of these machines left in the world, and we have 3 of them here at the American Treasure Tour Museum. You will hear the other 2 play later in your tram ride.
I believe that's the one that Walt Disney was inspired by.
Ladies and gentlemen, on your left is the beginning of one of the most popular exhibits here at the American Treasure Tour Museum. Litt Brothers department stores in 1977. A local man named Thomas Comerford was the Litt Brothers house designer and worked with a German company to come up with this design in the style of a colonial village. As we slowly travel along, the majority of the buildings will be on your left. But as we come around the first corner on our right, a smaller scale animated display from Macy's department store in Philadelphia. These were on display in their New York City location in the early 1960s. This display shows Victorian-era Christmas along with the church scene and nativity. After they were seen in Macy's, they were sold to Hershey Park and were a part of their Candy Cane Lane Christmas display.
Christmas in July. It's got to carve the turkey. This is an American treasure. Of course, after winter and Christmas comes springtime and Easter, which we have represented by all of the bunnies, ducks, chicks, and even Easter eggs. Don't miss the giant peeps included in this display. Peeps are made not too far away in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Just up ahead on your left, you will find one of the most recognizable families in America, the Simpsons. They were the prized possession of Irene Higgins and were donated in her memory by her daughters. They are one of a very few number of donated items in this collection. Practically everything else you see on display has been purchased by our mystery collector. Before you leave this room, don't miss on the end to your right, Pinocchio, starring in his very own puppet show. Take a look to your right and see dozens of hand-painted sideshow banners.
They are exact replicas painted by Lancaster County artist Joan Fay. They are exact replicas except for their size. When we commissioned her to paint them for the museum, we asked her to shrink them down. We wanted to fit many acts on each wall. Originally, they would have been so large they could have filled a whole wall on their own. Characters and clowns. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the artwork, the pictures on your left, and some more music.
Ah, nice breeze. Me, George Jetson.
After the tram, there were Halloween masks. These were made by the Collegeville Costume Company that was in business for 50 years until 1994. When the costume company went out of business, our collector bought out their entire stock of costumes and masks. Collegeville is one exit west of us on Route 422.
See George
You will also
Washington.
find 4 of the 3 Stooges hanging out on the wall. 10 different actors have portrayed a Stooge over the years. We like the Stooges so much, we named our trams after them.
Phantom of the Opera.
Ash was the company that manufactured
Created
it,
for
and
Mardi
it's called
Gras.
a quad because it had 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel steering, 4-wheel brakes, and 4-speed transmission. On your left is none other than Charles Entertainment Cheese, also known as Chuck E. Cheese, with his pizza-loving friends Mr. Munch and Helen Henny. Standing behind are the Warblets. Chuck E. Cheese has been serving pizza and fun since 1977.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to our show. Well, gang, let's salute all the good people who are out there working, pulling, how about something more than ever, and something that's on fire. I'll be working here forever, and even till I die. Come on and get to, and come on and get done. But first again, a remix, so you know that when I'm on, I'll be working on the living.
Represents the muscle car era, and it is a smooth and a fast ride.
Mac machines. Pet boys. Gotta go there next week.
The next classic automobile is a 1956 Robbins Egg Blue Cadillac Sedan DeVille. When this car was introduced, gasoline was a whopping 20 cents a gallon. This is a very large luxury automobile. We also have a 1924 Cadillac on display. That is in the walking portion of your visit today. Make sure you go and find it when your tram ride ends. Beyond the Cadillac are 1950s delivery and pickup trucks with a Dodge Power Wagon and a red Ford pickup on this end of the row. Beside the Statue of Liberty, you will find what was the loneliest guy in town, the Maytag repairman. Jesse White is pictured here, and he was the first of 5 men to play this part in Maytag's commercials. He is not so lonely anymore, as we purchased a Maytag wringer washer for him to work on. Before we make this last turn, it would be a good time to tell you that we do group, corporate, and student tours, as well as birthday parties and scavenger hunts here at the American Treasure Tour. Plan your next group adventure with us. And speaking of adventures, On the left, we have a small fire truck that was used on many trips around this building. This is a working fire truck and is a relic of the old B.F. Goodrich tire factory. This little fire truck would take 2 workers around the huge factory and aid in putting out small machine fires, taking first aid to workers and in the cleanup of chemical spills. There is a 1909 Sears and Roebuck motor buggy that one could order out of the Sears catalog. This is the car that looks like a carriage. It was $395 when it was new and features a tiller bar rather than a steering wheel. The wooden wheels are attired with hard rubber. That is where the word tire comes from. Sears advertised it was so easy to drive even a child could do it. Next to the Sears auto buggy is the 1949 Ford. Observe how fast the automotive industry advanced in 40 years from the Sears car to this Ford, nicknamed the shoebox. After World War II ended, Ford was the only automotive company to immediately come out with a new model, and this car was it. People loved the shoebox and bought it by the thousands. The last 2 cars on the right are the Crossleys. They were very small cars in an era when most Americans were looking for large automobiles.
There's a court case.
Crosley didn't make his fortune in automobiles, but was famous for his radios.
Very
He
sad.
sold thousands of radios that, along with other brands, helped put all the band organs and Nickelodeons out of business.
Hi there, I'm Mr. KB, and it's time for the KB Toy Parade. I'll tell you about
It's the kind of phone I grew up with. They have some on display here. Taco planner. I know somebody who would want that. Buy all kinds of different merch here. Some shirts. This is either the area you go to before or after you get on the tram. Different accordions. Before Spotify playlists and YouTube, you had this music box. I have a player piano at home. It's my great grandmother's. Still works. A little out of tune. Still works. Who's this guy calling? He's calling somebody in the Bell telephone. So these are the kinds of phones I grew up with as a kid. Had to learn how to call people on that. Took a little longer. Raggedy Ann's. Liberace. Very cool. This looks like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen from Full House. Is that Captain Jack Sparrow? Tower of Terror. You can find 40 of the greatest horror films. Bride of Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, maybe Jaws, Mummy, Cujo, geez, there's just a lot of things standing out. Dracula. A lot of them. This is impressive. Imagine living in a glass house. You shouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house, right? Gonna get a magnet here. Candy shot before we head out. Best of Philly. Next time, bring a friend. Got this. Come check it out. It's like a Phantom of the Opera kind of chandelier situation.
We didn't grab any napkins. It's a good move.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notifications, and don't forget to keep it moving.